Okay, for today's lesson, you will need lined paper to take your spelling test, your handwriting workbook. Oops. It looks like this. Your pencil, and then you'll need to do your handwriting pages today, 3 of them today. We're going to take the spelling test, and then we'll take our AR quiz. And our essential question today is, how can we use synonyms to avoid repeating the same words? So make sure that you have all of your materials right now before we get started. That way you can follow along with today's lesson. Okay, to start with, our word study is synonyms. And we want to find out, how can we use synonyms to avoid repeating ourselves? This is especially important when we are writing. You don't want to use the same word over and over again because it gets kind of boring for your readers. So if you know words that mean almost the same thing, you can kind of mix up your word choice to make your writing a little bit more interesting. So this sentence from Pepita Talks Twice says, "It's a fine thing to know 2 languages." Now the word fine has a lot of words that mean something really close to it, has a lot of synonyms. So if you replaced the word fine with any one of these words, good, wonderful, great, it would mean almost the same thing. So it's a fine thing to know 2 languages. It's a good thing to know 2 languages. It's a wonderful thing to know 2 languages. Or it's a great thing to know 2 languages. These are all words that would mean almost the same thing. So if you want to mix up your word choice a little bit, using a synonym is a great way to do that. So we're going to have a little interactive here where we look at the words in this column and we see if we can find a word over here that means almost the same thing. And I'm going to use my line tool to draw a line between them. So started means almost the same thing as began. And I'm just going to draw a line to connect them. Okay? Now the word raced, that word means almost the same thing as what, Annabella? Can you tell us, Annabella?
Annabella's not here.
Annabella's not here. Oh dear. Andrew, can you tell us what would mean almost the same thing as raced? Andrew.
Dozing.
Dozing? Oh, the word dozing means like you're falling asleep. You're going to like take a nap or something like that. So raced means that you're running really fast. Is there another word that would make sense there?
Ran.
Ran, absolutely, good. So we can connect raced and ran because those are synonyms that mean almost the same thing. Now the word store means almost the same thing as what, Haley? Do we have Haley here today? Guys, we don't need to be typing in the
She's still logging on.
Okay, we don't need to be typing in the chat box right now. If I want you guys to type in the chat box, I will ask you to. How about Connor? Connor, can you tell us?
Wait, what?
Can you tell us what word means almost the same thing as store?
Store?
Uh-huh.
Shop.
Shop. Yeah, you got it. We're going to connect those lines because those two are synonyms. What about lady? Ian, can you find a word that means almost the same thing as lady?
Woman.
Woman. Fantastic. Yes, you are absolutely correct. Woman. Did you have a question, Andrew?
Yes. So, on when you go, well, for when you for art, you said there's some things that you said to get the following materials for next week. Did you mean like? Did you kind of mean um? Did you mean for it to be next week to like save them and have them somewhere safe?
That's a good question, and we can talk about it later, Andrew. But let's get through ELA right now. We're going to put a pin in that and we'll discuss it later, okay? All right. So, sleeping. What word almost means the same thing as sleeping? Tanya?
Dozing.
Dozing. Yeah, you got it. Dozing means almost the same thing as sleeping. So if you wanted to write a sentence about sleeping, you could use the word dozing instead. Speak. Anderson, what do you think about that one? What word means almost the same thing as speak? Talk. Yes, fantastic. The word talk means almost the same thing as speak. So you can use those two words interchangeably. And the last one, shout, shouted. Patrick, what word do you think we could use there instead of shouted that would almost mean the same thing?
Um, yelled.
Yelled. Yes, absolutely. And that is a synonym for shouted. You guys did great with that. Good job. Okay, let's take a look at our handwriting pages. And we have our handwriting book here. These are the pages that I would like for you to do today. We have G, J, and Q, U, S, B, and P, and R, N, M, H. And when you get done with your handwriting pages, you can take a picture of them and turn them in. So at the top of each of your handwriting pages, it does give you some directions, arrows to follow to form each letter correctly. So make sure that when you are starting your handwriting pages, you are taking a look at those arrows and the directions and forming your letters correctly. In general, you want to start at the top and go down. You do not want to start at the bottom to form a letter. That is the incorrect way to form a letter. So make sure that you are starting at the top and going down. Okay? These are pretty straightforward. This is, again, just review of our manuscript handwriting. You want to trace and write the letters. So the first line for each different letter is just tracing, and then you want to write the letters underneath it. And then it says write the words. So underneath where the words are printed, you'll write them down below it. And try to match the shapes of the letters as closely as you can, okay? And then on the first page there, it says circle a letter you wrote that is straight up and down. Make sure your writing is nice and straight, up and down, and not slanted at all, because manuscript writing is supposed to be straight up and down. And then on the second page there, it says circle the word you wrote that has the best circle lines. Ooh, so the U, S, B, and P letters all have these kind of circular shapes to them. So make sure that your strokes are nice and rounded and not pointy looking, because we want nice round shapes there. And then on the third page, it says circle your best short letter. So the short letters there are going to be the lowercase r, the lowercase n, and the lowercase m, because they only come up to the center dashed line there. So keep that in mind. Make sure that your small letters are staying nice and small and your tall letters are nice and tall. We want to be able to see the difference between your uppercase letters and your lowercase letters when you're handwriting. This is something that you can do on your own after we finish our call today, okay? All right, it is time for your spelling test. Go ahead and grab your lined piece of binder paper and then number your page from 1 to 15. I'll give you a few minutes to do that, and then I will start reading our spelling words to you, so be prepared. We're going to take the test right now. Okay, give me a thumbs up if you are ready and you have your paper and it is numbered. Andrew, are you ready? Good. All right. Let's go ahead and get started. Day 5 is, it says the first word is slip. Slip. Be careful not to slip and fall. Slip. Slip. Number 2, fish. Fish. I know I'll catch a fish today. Fish. Number 3 is pick. Pick. Will you pick out a present for your sister? Pick. Pick. Number 4 is rocks. Rocks. We climbed over some slippery rocks. Number 5 is lunch. Lunch. Can you meet me for lunch? Lunch.
You're making me hungry again.
Sorry, I should avoid sentences about food.